All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in here. Good afternoon from San Angelo, Texas. So we're really excited about these two products. Once again, thank you for joining. This is Garrett with the marketing team here at Principal LED, joined by Derek, our compliance engineer. We know your schedules are busy, so like we said, thank you for coming in. Just in respect to y'all being busy, there are spec sheets listed in the handout tab. You can see there. If there's not enough information or you don't find what you're looking for there, of course, just use the questions tab to ask anything you have or anything you want to know, and we'll make sure that we kind of get to that in the best manner that we can, if not during the webinar, maybe after. With all of that being said, I'll turn it over to Derek.
Hey everybody, good afternoon, and as Garrett said, glad you could be with us, and we're really excited about these two product launches. As you can see, we've got the Street Rat Flex and then the Qwik Mod Mini. Both of them have two products within a subset, so we'll go ahead and get started. One thing to mention as we get going, you do have a questions tab available. If you have any questions or anything pops up that you want explained a little bit more as I'm going through this, please feel free to type it in that window. Garrett has an eye on it and will let me know and stop me if I need to answer any questions. All right, so as you can see, we're going to start with Qwik Mod Mini. We have the Qwik Mod Mini 1 and the Qwik Mod Mini 2. These are going to be really good and versatile, similar to what many of you might be familiar with our Street Fighter Mini. The big difference now being that it does come with a new optic. It's actually a 180 by 140 low dome optic, so it's very similar to what you see on the standard Qwik Mods. And it's in our testing, the ideal optimal ranges are going to be anywhere from 1 inch to 3 inches. We'll get a little bit more on the spacing in the next slide, but for now, as you can see here, all the pertinent information is available. You've got max mods 40 in series. On the Mini 1, which is just one diode, Mini 2 is two diodes, similar to the setup we have with our Qwik Mod 1 and 2. You can run up to 240 Mini 1s on a 60 watt and 120 Mini 2s on a 60 watt. The close module spacing creates an even lighting through shallow and narrow channel letters. These are, again, a 12-volt system. 40 mods max in series, so if you go above that, you need to make sure to center tap it or home run. Beyond that, you can see down at the bottom, the Qwik Mod Mini is a little over 4 mods, or the Mini 1 is a little over 4 mods per foot, and the Mini 2 is a little over 3 mods per foot. So here you can see more of the product options. We've got the efficacy on the Mini 1 at 62.5 and the Mini 2 at a little over 104. Intensity 25 lumens per mod at 4.14 mods a foot, 103 lumens a foot, which on this kind of product is pretty impressive. As you can see underneath, we've got the coverage chart, and as I said, 1 inch, you're going to be using the Mini 1. That's really going to be your only option. When you get to the Mini 2, even if you space them closer together, the extra intensity starts to work against you, and no matter how close you get them, you really do start to see some hot spots. So as you can see there, it says 2.5 inches on a single row and 1.5 on multi-row, and those do have notes next to them both because you do have to increase the mods per foot to about 7.5. That's the only depth you need to do that on. 2 inches and 3 inches, you can go fully stretched with both the 1 and the 2. It is worth noting, long term, we realize that because of the size of the Mini 1s in particular, they can be pretty adaptive and can be used in more versatile applications outside of just standard channel letters. And we've had good success so far with some people experimenting with that 1 inch thick acrylic, with just getting them hogged out and inserted in like you would with Gemini type letter. And what you could do, what you would traditionally use on light tape, you can use these now. A little more cost effective, but when we go down that route, we're looking at getting these with the shorter wire gap so that 7.5 mods per foot you see there is already standard out of the bag. But for now, that's something we're working on. So for now, it's the 4 and 3 mods per foot versions.
All right, Derek. So before we move on, we do have a question. And what was the recommended option for wiring at each 40 mod run? Do we terminate it and start another lead, or do we leave it connected and then tap into a new lead?
So if you have a run, let's just use 80 as an example on either one of them. So you can do it one of two ways. If you were to, you could center tap it where you have 40 go in one direction, 40 go in the other. If you wanted to not really, you just wanted to wire them together and continue your chain, I would not do a full bag on that, but you could probably double it as long as you were sure to home run it. So, first mod and 80th mod both get wired back to the power supply to complete that circuit and make sure you don't have any voltage drop. This, I believe, is one of the handouts that's attached in the folder that you guys have. This is just an updated Qwik Sheet for the Qwik Mod series. It has the Mini inserted as well now, both the 1 and 2, but it also has the standard Qwik Mod 1 through 4 and all the Kelvin temperatures and all the colors available. We just wanted to make sure you guys had the most up-to-date version, and this includes the new products. Moving on, this is another one we're excited about. A lot of you know about our Qwik Mod, or not a Qwik Mod, our Street Fighter, thank you, Street Wrap Gen 2 series. It's a nice rigid border product that we have. A lot of people over the years have been asking if we're going to go to a flexible product, and the answer is yes. This will not replace the Gen 2. This will just provide more options available to you on the market. So the Flex comes in 2 varieties, the back bend and the side bend. You're going to be able to see when we go to the side bend data sheets in the pictures why we call it that. The back bend name is self-explanatory, it bends back on itself. We really see this more in an application where you would do linear run footage, similar to what you would do with the Gen 2, but it's a smaller profile, closer to, if you have any customers out there, if you guys want that that thinner profile like you would get with Neon versus that real thick profile we have with the Gen 2, we see this one doing really well. And like I said, you're going to have a couple different mounting options that we'll see on the next page here in a second, both in clips and track. But before we get there, I'm not going to go through every single one of these. You can see them; they're pretty self-explanatory. We're going to have 2 options available right now in sizes. It's going to be a 6-foot and a 24-foot. The 24-foot is because that's the max you can run on one of our 96-watt power supplies. The 6-foot is mainly for cutting purposes. Every single one of these, whether it's the 6 or 24, is going to come with leads at both ends. So if you make one cut in the middle, you now have 2 workable pieces. But only offering the 24 creates the potential for a lot of scrap. So if you have a job where you only end up needing a 4-foot piece and then an 8-foot piece, well, now you have another 12 feet in the middle that if you were trying to cut that up to 24-foot reel, you have 12 feet that you've spent the money on but can't use anymore. The 6-foot will help eliminate that. Go back one more. Sorry. So color options. It's important to note on the pictures you can see that's the clear, kind of the white silicone base, where it's the jacket around the light tape themselves all look like that, whether it's white, RGB, blue, and green. The reason for that is we're still working on the correct color pigmentation on the green and the blue, so that when they are both on and off, you get the blue that you want without seeing any spots in every LED in the middle. The red is the exception. We have gotten that one where we like it and it looks great. So that right now, red will be the only color with a pigmented jacket to match. Blue and green are being worked on though. We just didn't want to delay the launch waiting on something like that. So please keep that in mind when you guys go to order. Mounting options and accessories. For the back bend, you're going to see 3. The number 1 that you can see on your screen is the indoor clip. It's just a clear plastic piece. Reason being that if you're doing an internal job, you're going to be most likely a lot closer to that sign than you would be on an external application. So having the clear clips kind of helps create that nice, smooth image instead of having to see an aluminum clip every few inches or in whatever application you're doing. Please note that at least right now, these are for indoor only. They are simple plastic polycarb pieces. They're not UV treated. So if you try to use them outside long term, they may not hold up. So that's where options 2 and 3 are going to come in. Both of these are the same profile. You can see that from the diagrams underneath the pictures. Dimensions wise, the 2 foot, or I'm sorry, the number 2 is the track, comes in an 8 feet section, and you're just going to be able to drill through the back of that into your face, into whatever your building is. So whether it's brick, mortar, stucco, whatever the case may be, you can just drill straight through those. You don't have to have an additional mounting clip for these. And then after it's in there, you can lay the product on top of it and it'll stay flush. The clip, which you can see, which is number 3, same exact profile, but it comes in 1-inch sections. So if you were to try to do more of an architectural application or a design instead of straight linear run, you could use these. Seidman, you can see, has a slightly different profile. And as we said before, this is going to bend side to side. And straightforward, it's in the name. This will be more for if you wanted to do more art pieces, script letters with over a certain size. You could get this on. The bend radius is a little over over 2 inches, so it won't go all the way back on itself, but it is nice and tight where you're not having to worry about breaking the light tape or the product inside. It is important to note with both of these products and the Qwik Mod, I forgot to mention, these are available in LED Wizard 8. And especially when it comes to these 2 products, on the Flex, getting a layout is highly recommended. With the capabilities we have in the new program, it will show you where the cut marks are, and it knows exactly what the bend radius is. So if a layout if you were trying to do a layout on a smaller channel letter set, and you got to a point where you were trying to bend it too far, the program will tell you, hey, I can't do this. So, it's not going to work for every situation, and we know that, but by having it set up in LED Wizard 8, we can at least, save you a lot of headaches and us a lot of headaches in warranty or anything like that by telling you it'll work or, making you think it might when it might hurt. And you get my point.
Yeah. So also with that, are the clips available in anything other than a 1-inch section, like 4 inches or increments such as that, or is it just 1 inch?
It can be 1 inch. Now the track and the clips, because they both come from the same thing, if there was a particular job where for whatever reason they needed to be smaller, or honestly, I think the best bet for something like that, if you needed them in specific increments, you can buy the 8-foot track, and just like it is with our street stakes and all of our other aluminum profiles, you can cut this down with a saw to whatever size you need, and it doesn't affect it. And because these in particular don't have pre-drilled holes that you have to worry about, that's probably going to be the quickest and easiest solution. There's been a few, I think, pop up asking about pricing. For this today, we're not going to go over pricing or anything like that. We will say that when we went through it, we made sure that we wanted to stay competitive, and I think you'll be very happy when you reach out to your distributors with what you'll see. But for today, we're just going to go over features and some of the information for the specs. One very important thing that we need to discuss when it comes to the Flex, both the back bend and side bend. The cut marks for the single color are all just under 4 inches, and then on the RGB options, they're a little bit under 2 inches. We have that listed on both spec sheets. When it comes to cutting, though, we have decided that for our warranty, because we do have the layout program set up for this product, we would ask that if you want a 5-year product warranty on this, we will need to cut it. You'll need to send in whether it's a script letter set or a design of some kind for the sidebend, or if you're doing linear footage like you would with the Gen 2, send it in, let us do a layout. That way we know exactly where the cuts need to be made. That puts the liability on us. It protects you guys, it protects us. If you let us know exactly what the dimensions are, you've done your survey, we've done the layout, and we cut it, we can factory seal it and make sure that that is all set and good to go. If at any point you're in the field and you want to cut it, you can do that. You have the capability, but do understand that it will come with no warranty from us at all. And that includes even if you do send in the layout, say you get it in, you do everything right, everything's in 24-foot sections, everything's good to go, but then you get to that last bit and it's not 24 feet, it's 22 feet. If you wait for us to send you a 22-foot piece, then that whole job's warranty. If at that point, though, you decide, you know what, I don't have the time to wait for us to do it, and you chop that extra 2 feet off, every section on there that's uncut 24-foot will be warranted. That one section you cut will not be.
Okay, so a few good questions here. On the RGB color spec, there is the not available portion under the wavelength. Does this mean that it can be a custom color to match specific RGB portions, or and this is specific to the Flex products?
No. Well, I mean, within reason. If it all depends on. For those of you familiar with RGB, it really comes down to the controller you have. You know, the more basic controllers, even with the color wheel, dialing in specific colors isn't doable. There are controllers out there that do that. And the reason we don't list the wavelength for the RGB is because it does color change. So when it's full on red, it matches the red spec that you see there, the 623. When it's blue, 467, and then with the green, it's 525. So we don't list it because, like you said, with all the different color combinations, it would take up too much room.
Okay, and then we talked about Flex and how you can get these neon-like applications of it. Someone has asked, what is an honest lumen comparison to neon as far as light output goes?
Honestly, don't know. I'd have to get back with you on that. If you want to follow up with us, or if we can follow up with you, shoot us an email. We can work on that comparison for you. But off the top of my head, I don't know. All right, so big, only real thing to note on the difference in the accessories between the side bend and back bend, you'll notice that there's a fourth option. That is still an aluminum track, but as you can see, it kind of has an accordion function to it. And what that allows you to do for the outdoor applications, and you could use it for indoor too, you can place this around a section of the flexible, of the side bend, and then bend it into the shape and the place you want. There are then small feet periodically throughout this track that once you get it into place, you can drill those straight into the wall that you're mounting on, and it'll hold them in place instead of having to use, 5 or 6 of the clear clips to get the same job done. I believe this is attached as well. This is the new Street Rat Guide. This will have all of the information you've seen here today as it pertains to the back bend, side bend. It also includes an updated spec sheet at the end of the Street Rat Gen 2. As always, Principal LED, whether it's for Flex or the Mini or any other questions you may have, we have all of our services available, whether it's project management, we have the ROI calculator and energy rebate services available. Our layout service is free as always, and we have updated to LED Wizard 8 across all platforms. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. Online resources, for those of you familiar with us, know exactly what it is. As I mentioned, the ROI calculator, the easy layout builder for online layouts for those that you can't wait for us to get to. This last slide shows all the different email addresses that you can use if you have any questions. Sales support, sales@pled.com. Any order applications that you're going to have, orders at PLED, and then if you have any questions on layouts or you need to get a layout done, you can reach out to layouts@p-led.com.
Okay, so 2 questions that we can go back to and answer that we didn't get to address during the presentation. So one is regarding the lead time for the cutting of our flex. Do we have an estimate just to give people off the bat, or is it really going to be a case by case scenario?
It'll be case by case. For those of you that have been with us a while, that we rely on our distributors heavily to stock a lot of the products that we have. Obviously, this is not one that they'll probably keep stock of, because inevitably there's you guys may want to just not worry about the warranty. You may just, for the sake of time and money, just decide you want to cut the product yourself when it comes to the flex and to the back bend and side bend, and that's fine. They'll be able to carry those reels in the 24-foot and 6-foot quantities. But if you do want the warranty and you're asking about for us to cut it for you, the lead time is going to be similar to what it would be with most of our other products, depending on the size of the job too, and the workload that our team here has out in assembly. 5 days is 5 days is not a bad estimate, I'd say. We're not doing anything crazy. This really is just cutting and sealing them, just with a factory seal. Later on, we're looking at purchasing the tools needed to place on the new wire leads. But that's a ways away, and we'll keep you updated on that. So I think that you shouldn't be looking at a huge turnaround on anything outside of what you're used to getting from Principal LED.
Okay, and another question is asking about the viability of using Flex to do script lettering on signs.
Again, that'll come down to the size of the sign. If you're talking about 18-inch, even 2-foot letters, probably not. Just to be realistic. The bend radius is good, but it's not, like I said, you can't bend it all the way back on itself. So that on those jobs, I would highly recommend sending them into our layout department. They all know what they're doing with the layout of the new LED Wizard 8s. They've all been trained on it, and it has all those built-in safety features where exactly if your letter set, if they get it in and they try to populate it, that program's going to let them know whether or not it can make those kind of bends and curves and whatnot. So that'll really be a case-by-case basis.
All right, and the final question that we have on the list is referring and asking if there's any possibility in the future of individually assigned DMX RGB, so color control.
On this particular product, we haven't talked about it yet. We have Principal in general has some pretty exciting things going on with RGB that we're looking into. I don't think we're ready to announce them quite yet, but on this particular product, we haven't really discussed it yet. So I don't have an answer on that one.
All right, and then another warranty question. If you cut multiple letters in order to keep the warranty, is there a cost involved for the cutting?
Yes, and when we get the pricing sent out to all the distributors and everything, that'll be something we can talk about there. But yes, there is a cost involved per cut, and then we try to make it so that even with that extra charge in there, because we do have those different sizes available, we're trying to keep the scrap down to not prevent you from spending money on product you don't end up getting.
All right, and that's all it looks like we have. Thank you once again for everybody tuning in here. We know y'all are busy. Once again, thanks for taking the time. We're excited about it. We hope we were able to answer your questions as best as we could with the information that we have on hand. If there is anything that you can think of that you haven't asked, we know how questions are, and you come up with your best stuff after you need it. We completely understand. Of course, just feel free to reach out through all the channels that we have of contacting us, whether it's emailing us at marketing@p-led.com, or call in, do whatever you have to do, go to our website. We're here, we're available, we're excited about what we're doing. We hope you are as well. But that's all we have for y'all. So once again, thank you and enjoy the rest of y'all's day.